right, Toys R Us is dead. The giant retailer, I think the only really large-scale toy retailer left in the United States, is completely pulling out of the country. They're dead. If they were a person, they'd be on their way to Hahn's Funeral Home, the only family-owned funeral home in Millvale, which specializes in green burials. Dead. D-E-A-D. Dead. If they were to be symbolized by a single toy, maybe it would be Skeletor. Maybe it would be, I don't know, did they ever make a toy of Luke's parents? Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, after they were creamed and fried by a giant, what was it, like a laser grenade that the stormtrooper shot at them, something like that. I feel like that would be a symbol of Toys R Us in its current state. I'm here with Jaye Cooper. This is River Talk. This is the River's Edge Radio Network. You found your way to Pittsburgh's voice for local music. That's right, listening to this program right now. I guess you're supporting me, but if you listen afterwards or right before, you will be listening to local original music. Our intro exit music is Scumbag Inc. by Solar Burn. And Jaye, how did you take the news of Toys R Us's demise?
I was shocked.
You were shocked. I was too.
More shocked than anything.
Did you go to Toys R Us when you were a kid? Is that a place that you frequented?
You know what? It's actually kind of funny because back in the day, in my young teen years, I used to. I can talk about it now since they're out of business. I used to steal from there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
they're not out of business yet, so
yeah. Well,
so they can still nail you. Maybe you will be missing. Like maybe this lawsuit against Jaye Cooper is just the thing that Toys R Us needs to pull itself out of bankruptcy. Jaye Cooper is a hero to children everywhere right now.
If they can bring up tapes from 25 years ago,
I'm emailing them right now.
If they can bring back tapes from 25 years ago and try to nail me for it, they can try.
They're probably still using those same video cameras from 25 years ago, knowing Toys R Us.
If they did, then how come they never caught me?
I'm not saying
because
they probably re-recorded over the tapes.
Yeah, they probably did because I went a couple of times. You remember the Yak Back?
Mm-mm.
It was like a little recording device. You would press a button and then you would talk, and then it would repeat it back.
Okay.
And then there was one. It was a Yak Back that repeated what you said but backwards.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, that was. Well, you're young.
Not
You're
that young. How old are you? You're.
I just turned 36. So
36. Oh man, you are old.
Yeah. No. Whoa. Okay.
I've crossed that threshold. I'm in the 30s. So.
It's cool. It's cool.
No, but, I'm sad because the giraffe is gone. What's his name? Jeff the giraffe? Or
I think that was his name. Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Yeah. He's done.
Yeah.
So I mean, talk about with Trump lifting the ban on wild animal trophies. I feel like this is kind of symbolic. He lifts the ban, and now all of a sudden, a wild animal like Jeffrey of Toys R Us, he bit the dust. Someone poached him.
Right.
Horrible.
Now I'm wondering how many people remember the song.
I remember there was a song.
I don't want to grow up.
Yeah,
I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Okay, you act like you really did steal from them.
I did, man. I could have.
I liked the song.
I was a thief and spokesman.
And that guy, Jeffrey, he was an iconic mascot. He's one of the few iconic mascots that were left. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was honestly, for a time, he was probably on the same level as whatchamacallit, the McDonald's dude. Ronald McDonald. He was probably on the same level as him, right?
I would say so.
Wow, that's crazy. So we're going to talk about Toys R Us. Tell us your memories here on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, we want to hear your Toys R Us memories. If you were a fan, if you hated Toys R Us.
Yes, please share with us.
Please let us know. Why do you think Toys R Us is going out of business? Is it because people like Jaye Cooper are robbing them blind? Or
it was 20-some years ago. I got over it. Y'all should too.
Are they robbing him? Is it because people like Jaye Cooper are robbing him blind, or are there other reasons? I have an idea. I'm going to express that here in just a few minutes. I want to give you a rundown of today's show. We've got the Cooper's Corner as always, but we're going to move it from 10:10 to from 10:10 to 10:40. So you'll have to stay tuned for Cooper's Corner because we've got.
I'm glad someone told me.
I told you now. So we've got that coming. That's pretty exciting. We've got all sorts of good stuff. It seems Z-Trip is doing something for St. Patrick's Day. They must be offering a discount, so you can look up Z-Trip. That just came across the wire here.
Oh, yeah.
I usually wouldn't give a plug except for they sponsor the music festival. So, and even though that's not the same as the River's Edge, I support the music festival, so I'll support those sponsors as well. So we've got Cooper's Corner. We've got the Hood Rat of the Week, which will be coming up as well. We're going to be doing an improv session at 7:30, and we're going to play a scene out in the South Side, a bar scene, and an example of what you're missing if you miss out on the South Side, or what you should be thankful that you are missing. So we've got that coming up. And we're going to talk a little bit about the special election. That's right, you're sick and tired of hearing about it, but we're going to continue the conversation because it is a big deal. The Republicans are threatening to file for a recount. We're going to bring in Republican political attorney Sean Logue. He's been on the show before. He's going to talk about the process of a recount, if it's realistic or not. And I'm going to ask him if he thinks that Rick Saccone was a terrible candidate. As I have said, I felt he ran a horrible campaign. I personally feel, and I've publicly made my opinions known, that I felt the Democrats did, and I mentioned this on social media, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, the Democrats did a masterful job in selecting Connor Lamb.
I was really surprised with that, especially with Trump making that last-minute appearance over at Moon Township.
Yeah.
Well, that was a week or two ago, and Rick Saccone was with him and everything, and it seemed like it was a big crowd. But from what I saw, though, it seemed like Connor Lamb won by...
Oh, by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, by like close. Several hundred.
You have to understand, that district was handcrafted for a Republican to win. And I was arguing with somebody about that same district who said, somebody who told me that, it wasn't a shoo-in and this and that, trying to make excuses.
Yeah.
And I said, any district that includes Westmoreland County and Moon Township, but somehow skips over where I live and where you live, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty freaking gerrymandered. There's no way around that.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. That's on both sides of Pittsburgh. We're talking about the county on the east and the western suburbs all the way out by the airport in the same district, yet somehow completely doesn't touch the city of Pittsburgh at all.
Right.
It goes through Mount Lebanon. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that wasn't handcrafted for Republicans to win. And whether you agree with the Supreme Court's decision or not, in regards to the redistricting and the gerrymandering case, which I actually agree with them that it was super gerrymandered, it wasn't right, and that the maps should have been redrawn. I may disagree with the way that they went about it in the aftermath, but I don't see how anyone could look at the current makeup of our congressional districts and pretend that it's fair in any kind of way.
Right.
So we're going to bring in Sean Logue and talk about that. I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've had him on the show. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your thoughts about Toys R Us.
Toys R Us. Please, somebody share with us. Let us know what you
stories?
Because, it's not just from the stealing. That one was like a highlight of my preteen years. But I had fun there, though, because that was one of the few places besides KB Toys where you can try out the toys. They had the basketball hoop.
Yeah.
So, I used to do that. I used to run up and down the aisles, even though they really didn't like us doing that. But, but we had a good time doing that. We got to try out the video games and stuff. And but this was back in the day, though. This was before PlayStation came out. So this was like I'm really showing my age now. This was like when Super Nintendo was still number one.
I was one of those spoiled kids. I had Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well. Bougie.
So, the bigger question is, what does this say about big box stores? Because Toys R Us, for so long, was such a prominent big box retail store across the country. What does it say about the industry, and what are your thoughts on that? Are you worried? Do you see a downside to these stores closing, or do you think it's just the future? Get with it or get lost.
I should have seen it coming because they stopped sending coupon books to the house.
Okay.
Remember how they used to do that every year? They used to send the big, thick book. Y'all remember that? The big book that had all the toys, especially around the holidays. That's when they used to send them out. And, you had pages upon pages of toys and stuff. The new Elmo. To this day, I don't understand. It's been 20-some years. They're still coming up with new Elmos and shit. What else can Elmo do?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't get it. But, And what else can dolls do? They got dolls that
they do everything.
Poop.
Well, the toy business isn't dead. That's the thing, Jay. The toy business is still alive. It's still alive,
but just the stores, though. Like no, yeah,
that's because everyone's buying it on Amazon.
Right, everybody's going online now.
So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's going to be? Do you think that's going to be bad for us long term?
I don't know.
Or do you think it doesn't matter?
I don't know.
Get with it.
I don't know, but you know what? ever since people started buying stuff online, including myself, I stopped going to the malls as much, which probably is the reason why a couple of malls around here have shut down.
I'm old school, and I tend to go to the brick and mortar stores a lot. But here's why: the brick and mortar stores. That's what they call like the big box stores, or the stores, the stores that aren't online, the stores that are made up of brick and mortar. You know, they're built from the ground. They are places you can physically view.
Oh, okay.
My issue is I just bought, and I mentioned it on my show, and I wanted to give a test run to show everybody how amazing these are. I bought these amazing trash cans on Amazon.
Okay.
And they're coming to my house. They're stainless steel, and they're motion censored because I have a thing. I don't like touching the lid of a trash can.
I remember you talking. Did it show up?
No. So I bought it. I have Amazon Prime. I bought it with the 2-day shipping. And here it turns out they're coming a month later. They're not going to be here in my house until the middle of April.
And you're like, I don't want it then. I want it now.
I want it now. If I'd have walked into Target and bought a motion censored trash can, it would be in my house right now.
Right.
So there are some drawbacks. As much as Amazon tries to be in your house and be right there, they messed it up. And everyone said, well, why don't you call? I'm a busy, important person. When do I have time to call Amazon and sit on hold? I don't.
Telling you to get a secretary.
I need a secretary. I need a secretary.
I keep telling you that.
That would be fantastic if I had a secretary. So there's a big problem. I see a problem in the future if we allow all of these brick and mortar stores to go away. I could see a world where, what if Amazon goes down for the day? Where else are you going to go? Because really, is there anywhere else you can buy stuff besides Amazon? I don't buy anything online. I don't know. I don't know. The only place I know to go is Amazon.
I go to Amazon, and you know what? My my coworker, she introduced me to Wish, the Wish app, and it's awesome. Hey, Miss Watson, how are you? Yeah, Wish is really nice.
Miss Watson, who's in the chat, speaking to us.
Who was that speaking to us?
I thought you said she was speaking to us. In the
chat.
No,
she's watching us. She's watching us. That's why I said hi. Yes,
she's watching us on the video. So if you're listening at riversedgepgh.com and you want to see Jay's pretty face and you want to see my ugly mug, you can just go to riversedgepgh.com/live.
That's right.
Or you can also just go to the Facebook page, which is River Talk, and you can find us right there.
Right.
So we're going to talk in a few minutes about, can you turn that mic on?
Which one? This one right
here?
Yeah,
right there.
All right.
We're going to talk with Sean Logue here. He just came into the studio. He's going to be joining with us. We're going to talk about the special election with him. He's a political attorney as well, and we're going to talk about the prospect of a possible recount. So that's pretty interesting. You can have a seat, Sean. And we're going to talk a little bit later about the Toys R Us issue. And I have an idea, an idea of a personal experience of mine as to why the big box store is closing. That particular store. This isn't a question about the whole symptom of all of these different stores scaling back and losing business. Mm-hmm. But I have an idea of maybe why Toys R Us has kind of shit the bed.
Tell us.
Why they're falling. Oh, we're going to tell you a little bit later. This is what we call a tease, Jay.
Oh.
So we've got the Cooper's Corner that's going to be coming up. We've got the Hood Rat of the Week, and we have the improv session. That is all coming up. But right now we have a political attorney, Sean Logue. He is right there. Let me just clear something off. There we go. And Sean, how are you? It's been some time.
It's been a long time, but I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We have Sean here. He's across the desk. And Sean, you were working on the special election, correct?
I was.
Hold that real close to your face.
Yes, I was.
Awesome. So, were you surprised by the outcome?
Well, yes, I was surprised, truthfully. It's a Trump plus 20 district, and Mr. Lamb ran a very good campaign, and he won. And as far as the unofficial results go, and I was very surprised. I thought that Mr. Saccone was a superior candidate. I thought that he ran a decent race, but it didn't go his way.
I thought he ran a terrible campaign personally. The big thing he ran on was I was Trump before Trump was Trump. He had a great background that he could have talked about. He could have talked about his background as a professor or his background in intelligence and dealings with North Korea. But I felt like that was all on the back burner in that campaign, and all he did was run around and say how I'm like Trump, I'm like Trump, I'm like Trump. And I don't think that the people in that district are as for Trump as everyone thinks. I think that they they were against Hillary and the policies that came about through the first Clinton administration that sent all the jobs overseas. And I think that I honestly think that they missed the boat on the campaign. And some of the criticism that came down against Lamb from the Republican Party, and I think that was a lot of national parties getting involved, just wasn't even accurate. So I think they kind of weakened the trust in the candidate whenever you're running around and the big thing you're pushing, because that's all I saw all over TV was how he's going to be a vote for Nancy Pelosi. He's Pelosi. But he came out before they even started saying that and said he wouldn't support Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. So I feel like the Republicans really lost this race for themselves. I feel like they gave Conor Lamb the opportunity to win, and he seized on it.
What I think the problem was, I don't think they talked about Trump's accomplishments. You know, what he's done for the country, a lot of that has been lost in the rhetoric. I mean, the stock market is up 40%. The unemployment rate is now at an all-time low. Trump is actively renegotiating NAFTA. Steel mills are opening up again. We now have North Korea back to the bargaining table. I mean, good things are happening, and you're right. The Republican Party did not do a good job of putting out that message that things have gotten better under Trump. And Mr. Saccone could have said, hey, things are getting better, but I will continue these policies. And I think you're right. I think just the simple message of I was Trump before Trump is not enough.
I thought it was a horrible message, and now we could debate whether what Trump is doing is good or not. I think it's a mixed bag. I think, I always try to be fair. I think some of the things he's doing are good, especially with North Korea. I think some of the things the way he's going about certain things are horrible. I think the image he's portraying, where you're firing people on Twitter and things like that, is just so immature. It just makes the country look bad in a lot of ways. But he is doing some good things as well. But do you think I feel the Democrats, and I've said this publicly on Facebook, I actually went to their page and even congratulated them. I think they picked the perfect candidate for that district, and I think that's why they won. You look at Tim Murphy, he was basically a center right-leaning guy who wasn't too controversial, and he stayed in office forever. And Conor Lamb is basically the opposite. He's a center left-leaning guy who I think if that district were to stay intact, which we know it's most likely not after the Supreme Court decision, I think he could have been in office forever in that district.
Well, I think that what Murphy did was very smart, and which I agree with 100%. I come from a blue-collar background. My parents are both union workers. Murphy was 100% behind the unions. And what I was impressed by with the Lamb campaign was they knew their district. They identified some key demographics, and one of the key demographics was union households. Yeah. And they went out and they worked and they fought for those union endorsements and they fought for those union votes. And Rick is actually very, very good for union labor as far as increasing jobs, increasing competitiveness of the industries that they represent. But the Lamb campaign did an excellent job of rallying those families, those households, and their friends, and he got those votes. Tim Murphy was 100% pro-union, and Lamb was able to sway those households. And like I said, that impressed me about him.
Yeah, I thought as a candidate he was impressive, and I thought the Democrats did a masterful job in choosing him. And do you feel the Republican Party nationwide should be worried about this election? Not so much because this election is so important, but because this really showed a change in the Democrats' party's approach to fielding candidates, where in the Republican Party, yes, you have your Tea Party side of the party, but if a moderate comes along, the party will support whoever the party has. Where in the Democrat side, I mean, they kicked out Lieberman, Senator Lieberman, because he didn't fit the mold. Ooh. He wasn't the cookie cutter Democrat. He couldn't fill in all of the checkmark points. But Conor Lamb doesn't really fit those checkmark points either. He's pro-Second Amendment. He's been a big advocate of the Second Amendment. He's not a cookie cutter Democrat, but they put him up because they thought he would win. Do you see that this could be something the Democrat Party replicates across the country, or do you think they're going to fall back in other places? Do you think this is more of a very local decision, and do you think the National Party is going to fall into the trap of just pulling out that check mark? Where do you stand on immigration? Where do you stand on guns? Where do you stand on gay rights, and not play the district? Do you think that they may see this, what happened here in the 18th, and try to replicate it? And do you think that could spell trouble for the Republicans across the country?
Well, look, first of all, I don't want to take anything away from Lamb. Lamb had a deficit coming into the race. He was down. and he was outspent, and he came back and he won a race. So nothing. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he did have some things in his corner. Number one, according to Gina Sorelli, the Westmoreland County commissioner, who
was also up for the special election, who wasn't chosen.
She was up for the Democratic version of the conferee process. She would tell you that the conferee process was fixed. She actually filed a lawsuit because people that she wanted to be voters in that special conferee process were not permitted. Not one of her people that she submitted names for were picked by the state Democratic Party to be conferees. So she lost, and I do think she is a nice person and a good candidate as well. So Connor did not have a primary. He didn't have a primary against a real leftist opponent who would be able to talk to him about his views on the Second Amendment or abortion or environmental issues or fracking or drilling or any of the other stuff. He didn't have to face challenge from the left. And you mentioned that Mr. Lamb is pro-Second Amendment. We don't know that. His commercial says that he likes to shoot, okay? But there's a photo of him with an AR-15. But
he's publicly said that he would support the Second Amendment.
Well, okay, what does that mean? Is he going to be for closing gun show loopholes? Is he going to be for stricter background checks? Is he going to be for upping the age to purchase an AR-15 from 18 to 21? I mean, there were no specifics. All he said was, "Yeah, I'm pro Second Amendment." But the NRA endorsed Mr. Saccone, 100%, and FOAC, an organization that I'm involved with, Mr. Lamb did not return his questionnaire to them, which asked him specifically about state law gun issues, and so we don't know where he's at, and until he starts voting, we're just not going to know. As far as should the Republicans be concerned, I do think that the Republicans should be concerned. I think that if the Democratic Party can ever clean up its act and get rid of ultra leftists like their Thomas Perez or Keith Ellison or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, if they can get rid of these ultra leftists and put in real centrists. There was a guy I thought was wonderful. His name was Harold Ford Jr., who was originally up against Nancy Pelosi way back when, and he got crushed for the leadership race. Had they picked him to be the leader, and he ran a centrist message of protecting American workers with tariffs, the way Trump is doing, of not going crazy on gun control, but having maybe reasonable solutions, being strong when it comes to the military, having an independent energy policy. Had he promoted those kind of things, and the Democrats promoted those kind of things, Republicans would be in trouble. But they didn't go that route. They went the ultra-leftist route, the Bernie Sanders route, the quasi-socialist route. And
well, they did. They went that route in the House, but I wouldn't say Hillary Clinton is a socialist.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton, her views went far left when she stole the primary.
When she stole the primary from Bernie, she needed to win that support.
And they picked and they picked Thomas Perez, and they picked Keith Ellison, who's a radical leftist. That's who runs the DNC today. So that's still the message. Now, how many Connor Lambs are there out there? How many? And he's an attractive candidate. Former Marine, former federal prosecutor, comes from a very strong political family, a very smart political family. He's been described by more than one person as Kennedy-esque in his demeanor and his.
Well, I think that's a much fairer comparison to what I saw online the other day.
That's a nice compliment.
The other day I was online and I had to get in, and I try, Sean, not
Depends on who you ask.
I try not to jump into the political Facebook fights as much anymore, but I just couldn't help myself on this one. It was just such a stupid comment. Somebody compared Connor Lamb and said he's an FDR Democrat. I said, what are you talking about? He defines central, as centralist. That's why he won. He would not have won if he was super progressive in the 18th district.
But again, my only criticism is we don't know what he is. I mean, if you go into
he ran as a centrist, and I don't think you can debate that.
He told us he was a centrist. Until he actually starts voting, we're not going to know. There's a congressman from Youngstown, Ohio, and I happen to do some business in Youngstown, and I like the Steel Valley. I like the people there. There's a congressman there who challenged Nancy Pelosi, and he said, I think his name was Ryan. He said he's going to, try and bring the Democratic Party back to the center. But when he voted for the government shutdown. Do you remember the DACA shutdown the last 3 days?
Yeah.
He voted for that, and he brought, I think he brought an illegal to the to the President's State of the Union. So you can say you're a centrist all you want.
But that doesn't mean that you're a super progressive liberal if you're in favor of trying to make an easier path to citizenship for.
That's Republicans I think are open to those ideas as well, but we want border security first. But my point is this guy tells us he's a centrist, but when it comes to voting to shut down the government, he did that. What happens is the Democrats are very good about closing ranks and coming together on key votes. And I guarantee you that when Mr. Lamb gets to Congress, he's going to, when a vote on gun control, for instance, comes up, he's going to face all kinds of pressure, and he's going to go a certain way. And we'll see if he's a centrist or he's not. Again, he didn't define a whole bunch of issues. And if you go on his website, he has like 6 things that he wants to focus on. But you're right, the checkmark boxes that a progressive would challenge him on, he doesn't answer any of those. So we just don't know.
Do you think that this should be something that both parties should learn from? So I don't know what went on behind closed doors when they picked candidates for the different special election parties, but he was more of a moderate. At least he ran as a moderate. And do you think that should maybe teach the parties not to feed into the extreme sides of each base and pick someone that might be easier for everybody to get behind? Because you do see that, like you said, an example with Nancy Pelosi, where people do tend to gravitate, and it happens on the Republican side too, where people gravitate more towards the more robust candidate in their views. Do you think that maybe people should learn to maybe not go that direction and allow a candidate who could reach across the aisle in 2018 to get in a position where they can run and win an election?
I kind of have a mixed opinion of this. As far as Democrats go, I don't think that running as a socialist or running as a progressive, I don't think that the country wants that. I mean, in the California and in Boston, those are winning issues. But the rest of the country, the backwards thinking red states, as Hillary Clinton would say, those people don't want that. Those people want moderate to right-leaning candidates. I honestly believe that. And if you campaign on a platform of how you're going to make people's lives better, and you have good ideas, you can win. As far as Republicans go, I think Republicans need to campaign on their very conservative messages, because I think that if you...
Do they, though, as the country's moving more and more left in many ways, especially with the younger generations, the millennials, you see there are much more progressives among people in their 30s and 20s.
I honestly don't believe the country is moving farther left. I think, if anything, the country is moving farther to the right, and Donald Trump is the embodiment of that. I think that a lot of the millennials, I think that there are vocal millennials who are on the left-hand side, but as far as the right goes, I think there are a lot of millennials that see that they've been lied to by secondary education and promises of jobs. If you get a degree that there are no jobs for, I think they see that they've been lied to. And
to be fair, though, a lot of that is underfunding. I know in Pennsylvania, for example, it's as expensive to go to a private university as it is to go to a state school, because the government, which is run at least through the legislature, through Republicans, have not adequately funded the public education program for college. So you do come out with huge debt.
Well, I would argue the opposite. I would argue that the problem is lack of capitalism. That when you give out loans at 1% interest and you guarantee the loans, and you encourage students to take loans and take on all that kind of debt, colleges can just raise their admissions fees. But
to my point, though, there are other states that will provide that education, and if you are somebody who lives in that state, you can go for an extremely affordable price. And here in Pennsylvania, they have universities like California where they're spending $1 million to renovate a private apartment, firing teachers, and raising tuition.
Well, I'm on the Council of Trustees at California University of Pennsylvania, and they are doing an excellent job, and for the first time in a long time, admissions are up. They're getting
$50,000 in drapes.
Well, again, admissions are up, and they're getting more people than more students than they've had before. And they came from a big deficit. There was a hole at California University as far as the budget goes, and as far as admissions go. That was cratering. And in recent years, in fact, this last year, for the first time, admissions were up, and the president there is turning things around. But that aside, yes, colleges waste money. Colleges waste money on all kinds of stupid stuff. But that's because there's no competition as far as fighting for a limited pool of dollars. There's an unlimited pool of dollars, and they can just say, oh, the easy way out is to raise admissions fees. and then they promote these degrees in which there are no jobs for. And instead of, I'm a big fan of technical schools. Instead of technical degrees, they're not promoting those things, and so people come out of their programs, and they're not eligible for anything where the jobs are at. And I think these people, these millennials or whatever you call them, I think that they are seeing that they've been lied to by the what I would call the elite educational establishment.
So you're a political attorney. You've been working with the Republican Party on this race as well, correct? So do you think there is going to be a recount? Do you think that the Saccone team is going to file for a recount, being that the vote was so close? Or do you think it's going to be too complicated in such a short time that they're not going to go through that expense?
Well, let's start by saying this. I am now out of the loop.
Okay.
I am not in the loop anymore. Okay.
Outsider's perspective, though.
So this is an outsider's perspective. My part of it was I monitored the process that took place in Washington County on election night on behalf of Mr. Saccone. That was my part of it, and then I reported about what went on at the Washington County Elections Office. I am now out of the loop as far as decision making goes. I'll say that I'm out of the loop.
Yes.
There is another law firm involved, and they're going through all the steps. So I can give you my outsider's take, and what my outsider's take is, I think they're doing what any reasonable group would do, and that is get the data. Most important thing is get the data. We don't know what the data shows just yet. We have unofficial results. I think it's like 695 votes in that neighborhood. I know that yesterday, provisional ballots were just being counted. I think Mr. Saccone picked up a few provisional ballots, votes. I think he had like a four vote margin, something in that neighborhood, as far as the provisionals go in Allegheny County. They have to count all of those. They have to make sure all the absentees and military ballots were counted, and then let's see what those numbers are. What I can tell you is this: since I've been on TV, I was interviewed by a bunch of different media outlets. I've gotten a whole bunch of calls to my office by people who said that they went to polling places, they tried to vote, and they were either turned away or their machines weren't working. They would try to vote for Saccone or vote straight party Republican, and their votes were flipped to Mr. Lamb. I'm not.
Well, you know what's crazy? This is not the first time this story's come up either. I remember this happened during the presidential election. I know somebody personally who actually voted for Donald Trump. They clicked review, and it switched to Hillary Clinton.
I'm telling you, just random people found my number and called me and said, hey, this is my name, this is my number, I went to vote, and this is what happened. And I passed all of those names and numbers on to Mr. Saccone's election team. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, the most important thing is get the data. I think once they get the data, if there is a very small vote difference, they might want to run a check on all these different machines to make sure the machines were properly calibrated. Computers are not, flawless. Computers make errors all the time. Do
you think we made a mistake going to the electronic system?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I don't like it either. I don't trust it.
I strongly believe in paper balloting. I strongly 110% believe in paper balloting. I think that there is a machine out there that it's electronic, but it creates a paper trail. I would love to see Pennsylvania switch to that. And I also want to see voter ID laws strengthened. I think that if you are... if you show up to vote, you can produce an ID. I don't see what the big deal is on that.
Yeah, I think they can make that accessible. But yeah, I would definitely love to go back to a paper trail system. I just think it makes more sense. So how do you apply for a recount? What's the process that you would have to go through for that? Do you just go to the election office and do you have to, I'm sure there's paperwork you have to fill out.
Well, this is very complicated because you have a federal election, but the states run the election, and it's not a statewide race, so Commonwealth Court should not be the first the court that you would go to. Okay. So what's going to happen is, and this election is in multiple counties. So what's going to have to happen is the Republican Party would have to file separate petitions in Greene, Washington, Westmoreland, and Allegheny, seeking whatever relief it is that they think is necessary.
Okay. Makes sense. So thank you, Sean, so much for giving us your insight on all of this. You're welcome to stay around if you'd like, but we're going to roll on to Cooper's Corner, and because we're still waiting on Howie for the improv section. So
yeah,
Cooper's Corner. So do you want to roll into that, or do you want to roll into the Hood Rat of the Week?
No. We'll do the Cooper's
Corner.
Thing.
We're going to save the hood rat.
All right. Yeah, we ain't even got to do the song today.
All right, let's just roll into it. We've got the Cooper's Corner right now here on River Talk on the River's Edge Radio Network. That was Sean Logue. He's a political attorney. That's who you just heard from. I think he's gonna stick around and join in on the conversation. We're gonna continue to talk about Toys R Us. It's closing. Why do you think it's closing? We want your thoughts here in the chat, or you can tweet me at River Talk PGH. I'm going to tell you why I think it's closing, and that's going to be up in a little bit. But right now, we've got Cooper's Corner here on the River's Edge.
That's right. The United States Army is kissing a decade-long St. Patrick's Day tradition goodbye in Georgia's port city of Savannah, saying that smudged lipstick doesn't go good with the uniform. So for more than 40 years, spectators at one of the world's largest St. Patrick's Day parades have darted into the street, to peck passing soldiers going by. But this month, Savannah's parade committee announced that tradition is not to be continued, sparking frustration from longtime residents. So basically, for 40 plus years, spectating women have looked at soldiers and who were either coming home from
war,
yeah, and walking up to kiss them and everything. It's been a long tradition. I think that's pretty cool. I like that. And now they're doing away with it in Savannah, which is actually one of my old stomping grounds.
Oh, really? You've been all over the place.
Well, military brat, like we lived in, Fort Stewart, Georgia, which isn't that far away from Savannah. So, and I do remember seeing that during St. Patty's Day parades and stuff. So
I feel like St. Patrick's Day is always under attack, the traditions. I know in Pittsburgh, for example, I've never been to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and I've never gone to the South Side to drink. My friend tried to pull me into that today, and I'm like, I don't know if that's my cup of tea. But I was told that the St. Patrick's Day in Pittsburgh used to just be like literally a bunch of drunks walking down the street, and now they've banned alcohol at the parade. Yeah. So that's like a huge crashing of traditions right there, isn't it?
I would say so.
They've banned open containers, but look, if you put a beer in a cup, I don't think anyone's going to say anything to you.
Okay, so you can still get away with it that way.
Loophole.
I know, what I used to do at college is I used to drink Gold Peak green tea, and once I finished with the bottle, this is back when it was in glass, the taste changed. Anytime they change something from glass to plastic, the taste goes way downhill. It's horrible. But I would drink the green tea, and then I would fill it with Chardonnay, and then I'd walk around, and it just looked like green tea, so I'd just go to class, and I'd be... Maybe that's why I left college, but...
That takes me back to high school, man. I used to walk around. People used to think that I was drinking orange juice. Well, it was orange juice. It just had vodka in it. So
okay, so it was a nice little cocktail there.
Yeah, screwdriver.
Yeah, so
those who don't know what that is.
These traditions are kind of going away. What do you have a St. Patrick's Day tradition?
Not really. I just, you know what? I like collecting the plastic necklaces.
Show him yours. Let's see if it shows up on camera.
Yeah, I'm not
so we've got a green screen, but he's got some beads here.
Yes.
So he's got the great balls. You know what? They are kind of showing up, but they're black. It's hilarious. So for those of you who are listening, we've got a green screen behind us, and the green screen just has the River's Edge logo. So when Jay holds up this necklace, it just looks like a bunch of black balls instead of green balls.
Yeah. So for those who can't see it at all, obviously
they all show up.
They look like little green disco balls on a plastic chain and stuff. And I have many of them like this. I actually have one that has the clover.
Okay.
And they light up.
Very cool.
Yeah, those are always cool. So I'm a collector of them. Oh my God, they really are black.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just look at that.
So I'm a big fan of tradition, no matter what it is. I like, well, except for if it's a horrible tradition or like an evil tradition, but like fun traditions, like women kissing guys as they're walking by. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially for the soldiers. I mean, why would?
Maybe do they like it, or do the soldiers not like it? Is it like all your hood rats coming out to pucker up?
That's what I'm wondering, because here's a quote from somebody, Brian Ferguson, who once marched in the parade as a band member. He said, even though rules are meant to be broken, I don't think traditions are.
Okay.
I like that.
So he's in favor. So that sounds like it. People like the kissing.
Yeah, I would have liked it.
Can they stop you? I mean, it's not like they can stop people from doing it, right?
Right. No, they can't. Doesn't say they're going to stop them. Doesn't say anything about they're going to prosecute them if they do or anything. It's just something that they said they're going to try and stop.
Maybe that's what we should do in the tee. Place a bunch of people with big lipstick and just give people kisses as they come off the tee. Maybe that will stop the people throwing people onto the train tracks or attacking people with machetes and all the other crazy stuff that happens in the tee. You kind of put your life on the line every time you come to the show taking the tee.
I do.
In here.
I do. And you know what? When I took the tea down here this morning, I was like, okay, let's get a mental smell of this place because it's not going to smell like that when I come back. When I come back, it's going to smell like vomit. I already know. Vomit and like stale beer. Like people who've been drinking since like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You smell that old beer with like, you know, the kind with like no carbonation in it. Like it's been in your system for the longest time. It's gross. Oh, and what I also like about the parade, or just St. Patrick's Day in general, I always get like a shirt. I got 2 shirts in my bag. I got one that says, this guy needs a beer. It has thumbs up like this, pointing right at me and stuff. And then another one that says, kiss me, I'm Irish. And you would be surprised how many people, I don't know what that is. You know what?
Jay's got some magical music. He's really into the St. Patrick's stuff.
That is my new Bluetooth phone that I just got from the Wish app.
Right, can we turn it off?
I don't even know where the hell it is. So, I got distracted.
My question is this green beer, do you drink it?
Sometimes.
Why does it taste different? Because it's literally just light beer that's colored.
Yes.
But for some reason it does have like I think it's a psychological thing. Kind of like when Heinz came out with the green ketchup. It wasn't going to taste the same.
I was never a fan of that.
No, neither was I. But why weren't we a fan of it? Because it should be the same thing, but it psychologically it changed. Yeah,
just like when people make scrambled green eggs.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I mean, it's not going to do anything. It tastes just like regular eggs, but it's the look of it.
Yeah,
I think green. I think gangrene. I think
yeah, it looks like it's rotting, right?
I think it's
I didn't even think about that.
It's a psychological thing that psychological phenomena when you see green in food.
Yeah, I agree, and it's kind of like a nasty trash can, and that's why I want my motion sensor trash cans. And Amazon, I'm about to quit my Prime account. If those trash cans do not make it in March, make it here by March, I'm out. Okay. You can take the Alexas back.
Oh shit!
Yeah, actually no. I need the one Alexa.
I was about to say because I'm kind of like
not that Alexa, but I'm putting in that security camera so I can find out who the fiends are who are terrorizing the studio and leaving it a mess all the time because they're going to be expelled and expunged from this show. That's right. Big Brother has come to the River's Edge, watching you. And we are going to be watching you. So
private eyes.
I want to talk about Toys R Us. Why, Jay, do you think Toys R Us is going out of business? Do you think it's because people like you are stealing?
We're still talking about that?
Yeah, like I said, they're filing a lawsuit right now.
I mean, he wasn't even here when we talked about that.
I'll represent you. If there's a shoplifting case, I'll help you out.
There we go. So you've got an attorney backing you up right now.
I was about to say, or
do you think it's just the way of the world?
Technology.
Technology's killing Toys R Us.
Yeah, I mean, people. Okay.
But if you got to wait a month to get your damn trash cans, then what's the point?
If I were to look at it this way, I would think that the country, in a way, has gotten lazy. They don't like
to go out and shop.
They don't like to go out and shop. They don't like to be in a big place surrounded by thousands of people and stuff. They kind of want to just go online, order the stuff, and then just have it delivered. You know,
You're going to talk with Sean for a few seconds. Sean, can you let me know why do you think Toys R Us is going out of business?
Yes, spill it out. Let us know. What do you mean locked out again? Oh, did you close the door when you?
Shit!
You must have closed the door when you went in.
No, Toys R Us is going under because of Amazon. It's that simple. Just like what was said. Why go to Toys R Us when you can just order everything online? And when you do go to Toys R Us, something might not be in stock. I personally went to Toys R Us last year.
Okay.
To look for that Super Nintendo with all the games that they put out.
The new retro. The one retro that they Super made Nintendo with all the games put inside.
I went there to look for it, and guess what?
What?
Sold out.
Damn.
Okay. So they never have inventory.
Sold out. But you know what I did? I went on to Amazon.com.
That's right.
Amazon.com sent me an email reminder when their version came in stock.
Oh, so you didn't have to wait a month for it to show up like I do. I'm a Prime member, but I'm treated like I'm a runt. I guess I'm the runt of the Prime community. Well, you know what? Amazon. Brian Crawford, I have a voice, I have a platform, and that's right, I'm calling you out. If I don't get my trash cans by the end of May, you're done. And I'm going to tell everybody that Amazon is not worth the money.
Be careful. Jeff Bezos is Big Brother now. He's listening.
I know. I've got an Alexa right in the other room.
Yeah, and I got it.
That's good. I hope he is
Amazon
listening.
tablet.
I hope he is listening because just like Kim Kardashian could shut down Snapchat, Brian Crawford, will shut down Amazon. So I think Toys R Us is going out of business because it's really, really poorly run. And I can tell you that as a former employee.
Or bad security.
I was just in I was in a Toys R Us recently. The one is in Southwest Village, and the lights weren't all on. It was dark.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was like dark and shady in there, and I was thinking to myself, like, why is it dark and shady in here? I want to bring back Children's Toy Palace. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember
in Carnegie,
that. Yeah,
let's bring that place back.
Yeah, there's that. There was another one called Child's World, which I guess was another big thing. We've got Howie D. Mack in here as well in the studio.
Yes,
he's going to be joining us. I had an experience at Toys R Us, so I worked there for a seasonal job once, and it was just part-time, just some extra money, and I go in there, and to this day, and I guess I'm not going to be able to get it because they're going out of business, but to this day, I never got my tour of the store. You know, when you start in a retail job, whether it's part-time, seasonal, whatever, the first thing they do is they give you a tour of the store and show you where all the departments are. This is where, Legos are. This is where Batmans are. This is where Easy Bake Ovens can be found. All of that stuff. Well, I never got that tour of the store, and I'm still waiting, and it's been at least like 7 years. So I don't think I'm going to get the tour.
Nope.
But my first day on the job, I get there, and I go up to the manager in the front of the building, and I say, "What would you like me to do?" And they literally said, "Oh, go straighten things." Okay, what would you like me to straighten? Do you want me to go to the action figures? Do you want me to go to the clothes? Wherever.
Wherever.
That was the direction that I got when I started there.
I think that manager is now running the PennDOT offices.
Ooh.
Yeah, probably. So I then go and start straightening things, and this woman comes up to me, and she goes, Excuse me, sir. I turn around. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? Sir, can you tell me if you have the Star Wars Lego TIE Fighter? And I thought for a second, and I said, "Ma'am, if you tell me where the Legos are, I will try to help you." So she took me on a tour over to the Lego department and showed me where I could find the Legos. And then I just looked on the shelf like any normal customer, and I'm like, I don't see it, but I really don't know.
But when you get home tonight, go on Amazon.com. They'll have it.
Right?
Yes, but good luck getting it in your 2-day Prime slot, unless you're a privileged Prime member.
Amazon has been a good friend of mine.
Well, all I know is I want that damn trash can, and if I don't get it soon, there's going to be trouble.
You probably could have went to Wish app.
Right now, I have to touch the lid of the trash can at my house.
You probably could have got it for free.
I'm using the old trash can, and I have to lift the lid every time. And when you do that, the germs just scatter all across your body, and you're infected.
Which garbage can are you talking about? You're not talking about the one here in the studio, are you?
Well, that one's pretty foul, too, because you have to touch that lid.
Yeah.
But this lid looks nasty.
You got to pinky lift it.
Yeah, but then you got to hand sanitize every time you touch the lid. So you're drying your hands out because you got to hand sanitize. Otherwise, you get infected. It's just not a good situation to be in.
Mm-mm.
So where do you stand on this, Sean? I've actually had you on video this whole time I've been talking. How do you feel on this about touching the lid of a trash can?
You know what? I am not worried about germs, so I take my chances. So
you're like a walking disease.
You know what? I'm a lawyer. I shake hands every day with people. I visit jails often. Look, I get germs and bacteria and whatever, and it is what it is.
Asked and answered.
There we go. So, where
what
I work...
What about you, Howie?
Yeah, how do you feel about touching the lid of a trash can?
I try not to. I'm good for grabbing a napkin or something else.
Yeah, you do whatever you can. Would you hand sanitize if you touched the lid?
I have hand sanitizer on me all the time.
See?
Always.
Did you see it's on Drudge Report right now? There's a gorilla in Philadelphia, and he walks on 2 legs because he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. So when he has food, or if it's muddy out, he walks like a human, okay? Because he doesn't want to get his hands dirty if he's carrying food.
He's a smart gorilla.
A gorilla with OCD. I love it.
Maybe maybe this will be the Planet of the Apes at one point. So fantastic. So let's roll right along. That's why I think personally. There we go.
We good?
Just somebody is having an epileptic episode because the camera just went as a sticky key. So I just think that their total mismanagement is definitely something that would help the end of the toy company, and it is sad to see it go. It was a fun place to work, even though it was chaotic.
Yeah, because what? I worked there too. For a couple of months during the holiday. I was an overnight stock person, and
I worked during the day. But what I ended up doing is I forced my way. I made my way to the electronics department, and I ended up working a day there. And I could see everything, and I could easily find out. Just go into the back room to see if it was in stock. And it was an easier place to work. I didn't have to know the layout of the store since I never got a tour. So, and then I would just talk to moms about video games because they didn't know anything, and I looked like a genius for knowing something, even though I didn't really play video games. So I refused to leave the electronics department at that point, and then Toys R Us did not welcome me to stay on full-time after the holiday season because I refused to do anything else but the toy department. So,
well, one thing that's not being mentioned is that Toys R Us closing down is a harbinger, because once Toys R Us goes, others will follow.
Yeah.
And there's something called the retail apocalypse that's going on, where retail is brick and mortar retail as we know it is just going under.
Kmart.
Yeah,
Sears and Kmart are on the verge of going under. JCPenney has turned things around, but who knows?
It'll be just a matter of time.
We were talking about that a little bit, and we were saying
I'm miss being able to actually touch stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Is it going to be? Is it a detriment that these places are going? I think it is, because I go to order something. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't think you were in yet, Sean. I went and I ordered these trash cans, and I'm waiting now a month to get them because apparently I'm the runt of the Prime community. But if I'd have walked into Target, I would already have that in my kitchen, and I wouldn't be risking my health every day by touching the lid of a trash can.
Well, what I'm interested in is what's the future of these malls going to? What are the malls of the future going to look like?
Man, Century 3 Mall barely has anything now. Now, back in the 90s, Century 3 Mall was the place to be for kids. I mean, all 3 levels had everything. So many stores, music stores, toy stores, bookstores. Now all the toy stores are gone. All the video stores are gone. Like what was that one? FYE and
Blockbuster, FYE.
Yep. Suncoast Videos.
Hollywood.
Right. All that shit is gone. All of it is gone. Popcorn World, gone. GameStop, gone.
Do you remember the sword and knife store they had?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do remember Flag World.
That was the coolest store, was the sword store.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, see, I think what you'll see more of what's happening in Washington Crown Center. I don't know if you ever go down that way, but they have a sub-spot for the community college there. They have like some other interesting things. It's more available for local businesses to open up shop in the mall. So I think you might see more of that. I know at Pittsburgh Mills they put a competing internet radio station in there at a storefront. So kind of a weird location, but
yeah, that's weird out there.
Yeah. What if imagine community colleges, like you said, in your local malls, or Med Express will be in your local malls. I mean, that's the future. I don't see any other.
I did that in Braddock Hills. That one side is, I think it's CCAC and Propel School.
Yeah.
That whole shopping center used to be a big shopping center. Now it's schools on that one side.
Oh yeah, Norwood Hills. I mean, that's a strip mall that now is completely owned. They are actually owned by not Alexa. They're completely owned by Excella Health.
Yeah.
And it's actually called Excella Square now, even though we all still call it Norwood Hills. And there's only a couple stores left in that plaza. But even the strip malls are not succeeding anymore. It seems like it's either like something like Target or Walmart or a grocery store, or it's nothing. And even those companies are struggling.
There is one classification of companies that are surviving, and that's Family Dollar and Dollar General. Those two chains are booming because they're somehow able to get in at bottom dollar prices and bring in their goods at, again, a bottom dollar price, and people are still shopping there.
Sadly, they're also one of the reasons why they're surviving is certain communities, especially poor communities. That is the grocery store in that community.
It's crazy though, because I haven't really seen that many bottom dollar stores in
not bottom. Their bottom dollar is going
in prices.
Dollar General and Family Dollar.
Yeah. Like for example, here in Millville, if I need something,
that is my place.
If I don't, but that's the point though. So like if I live here in Millville, for example, say I don't have a car.
Right.
The busing system is not very reliable here in Millville, so I'm pretty much Family Dollar would be my grocery store here in Millville.
You know what? They got some nice stuff though. I picked up a lot of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of healthy stuff there. You can't get
really
vegetables. You can't
get fresh vegetables.
You can't get fruit there.
No.
So
everything's frozen or
a lot of communities, and Millville I wouldn't say is a poorer community. It's probably middle class.
I hear Millville's the place to invest. I hear Millville is going to be the next Lawrenceville.
I think it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the next Lawrenceville, but I think it's definitely the place.
If they did, though?
I think no. I don't think that's a good thing to be the next Lawrenceville. But I do think you're right. It's definitely it's on the up and up. I don't think it's going to be quite so crazy as Lawrenceville, where they're tearing down blocks and building these behemoths. But I do think it's definitely the place to be, and I think it is the next community on the rise. I think you're absolutely right there. I just don't think it's going to go quite the level of Lawrenceville, where you're going to see such huge redevelopment. And I think they're working hard. I know just from being involved in the community that they're really striving to try to make the community still affordable for the people who live here, which is something that Lawrenceville has not really been able to do in certain parts. So, but I do think you're absolutely right, though. It's definitely spilling over here into Millville, and you can definitely see much more activity and younger people moving around. And I'm happy to say that this radio station has been part of that movement as well. There's some people who have moved into the area, and I flat out asked them, why did you move here? And the first thing they said was the River's Edge, and then they said Mr. Small's Theater and just the community at large.
And then Jay Cooper and Howie D. Mack. That's
well, like I said, the River's Edge,
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah. So should we roll into the Hood Red of the Week?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's roll into the Hood Red of the Week right now here on. And Sean, you want to put your headphones on for this one? We've got the
Hood
he's
going to want to hear the theme song for Hood Red of the Week.
The Hood Red of the Week coming on right now here.
He might recognize the voice.
We've got Howie D. Mack, Jay Cooper, Sean Logue is our guest here in studio. I'm Brian Crawford. This is the Hood Red of the Week here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, The River's Edge.
We came, we saw, he died. We came, we saw, he died. Look.
Love it. Now, I know you know who that is.
we literally just found that video. We were talking about Hillary for something, and we found that theme song, and I don't know why it's the Hood Red of the Week theme song. We just kind of liked it, and we decided to keep Hillary alive. She may be dead in politics, but she lives here on River Talk.
Right. Big shout out to what could have been Madam President.
All right, what do we have?
All right, well. I love her. I love when she talks. It's awesome. All right, for Hood Red of the Week, men use spaghetti sauce to try to start a fire after a burglary.
Huh?
Yeah, I had to say that just to get everybody's attention. They're paying attention now. A lot of shit going down in Florida. This happened in DeLand, Florida. 2 men are accused of breaking into the home of a man that they both dated.
Okay.
Yeah, they went in to retrieve some of their things. Also stole some items, and then they left a jar of spaghetti sauce, and they left it boiling on the stove with a washcloth over it. And they put it near the burner in an attempt to start a fire in the place. So
wow.
I found that interesting. Is the picture up?
No, I don't. You got to the website, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I had a migraine this morning, actually. I was thinking, I slept for an hour, and I'm like, we'll see how I feel. Yeah. I might be telling everybody.
Well, the victim who kept his name out of the news, he called 911 after this actually happened this past Tuesday because the security cameras in his home detected motion, and he believed someone was breaking into his house. It actually came up that both these men he dated.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, yeah. 28-year-old John Silva, who's, if you look on the page, he's the big white guy with the weird hair, and the other guy is Derek Irvin, the other ex-boyfriend with the cornrows. So you'll be able to differentiate the two. They picked up some clothes from the victim's home, and what did he do? Oh yeah. They took a vacuum, the AC unit from the window, a flat screen television, and a heater. Yeah. Oh, and a marijuana grinder.
Okay.
Yeah. So we knew where their heads were at.
Wow.
When they decided to do this. So
they're probably already stoned, and they were hungry. They had the spaghetti sauce on them. And
yeah. Well, they wanted to make it look like when they tried to set it on fire, they wanted to make it look like he was at the home and that he was cooking so early in the morning and made some spaghetti sauce. And I guess he forgot, tried to make it look like, he forgot he left it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got busted. They got busted. The cameras got them before they threw the cloth over to,
For some reason, we ended on Facebook. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But we're still live at riversedgepgh.com on the stream, and we'll have the video up afterwards. So
and what the victim said, he said it started out as a relationship that lasted about a week. I let him use my car for 4 months, and like he was trying to explain why they did what they did. He said maybe he's angry about that, that I let the one guy use my car, or maybe he's angry because I gave him $150 to fix his teeth, which was hilarious.
You know what? Wow. Lesson learned. Don't give your car to a 1 week hookup. I think that's the lesson here.
Yes. Yeah. So both men were charged with unarmed burglary, grand theft, and arson. Sylvia, the big guy, is being held on $25,500 bond, and Irving is being held without bond because officials say that he violated his probation. So, good pick, fella.
Wow.
On both guys. So normally I do one hood rat of the week, but considering that this was a team effort, you both made the list.
Very good. Trey commented, Trey Williams, in the chat that he owns all of the Dollar Trees. So if he's doing that well, maybe he should invest. We could use some. We could use an angel investor here on the River's Edge.
That would be a good sponsor.
That would be. So I would do it.
Yeah.
So
all the free steaks, the little single frozen steaks,
the dollar steaks.
Yes, I love those. Man, look, laugh if you want, man. Those steaks are delicious.
I like the frozen Salisbury steaks you can pick up by like 20 at a time.
Yes, my man.
Those are good.
Yes, good stuff. The frozen section, I love that place, especially the frozen fruit. I like making daiquiris and margaritas. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean when you can buy $1 a bag, it's awesome.
So we didn't get to the improv section today, but that's right. We'll be back with that next week, that segment. So stay tuned if you enjoyed it. It will be back. But I do want to go through what we have coming up. I know we've got Ignan Easter. It's on its way. We have the promotion running on the stream.
March 31st. Saturday, March 31st.
How do you say, where's it at again, Howie?
In the newly renovated, freshly scented East Liberty.
Yes. So come on and check it out. What's the details on all of that so people can come find that out? Check it out.
It's going to be a 6022 Broad Street, as I said, in the newly renovated, freshly scented East Liberty. Show the doors open at 8. Show starts at 9. DJ Rock on the wheels. Jay and I hosting.
That's right.
Featuring Samantha B, One Eye, Dawn Honor, and A. Loke.
Yeah, and what's the date?
We picked the most ignorant comics we could find.
March 31st.
March 31st.
Yes.
One day before Easter.
The day before Easter. Easter Eve.
Or April
Fool's
Day.
Eve.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, however you want to do it. That's right, because April Fool's Day and Easter falls on the same day. So, yeah. And in case y'all forget, we'll be back. We'll be back on the 31st, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
No, wait, the 30. Oh, if you want to, sure. We can. Yeah, let's do it.
I want to.
All right,
we'll
be back on the 31st. We'll do that. Now, maybe we'll talk after the show. Maybe we can come up with some ideas.
Don't forget the chubby chocolate leprechaun all the day.
All day. Right. And I'll be right along with him. I'll be his sidekick today.
Okay, now I'll tell you where we're going to be at today. I'm going to be at Jameson's at noon, 1:30 Brookline Pub. Was it 4 or 5 o'clock at Bloom's?
All right.
Bloom's busy day.
On 12th Street.
That's associated with Idiot Radio, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Friends of ours. So go and support that.
That's going to be ridiculous. And everybody's drunk already. What time
is it? That's right.
11 o'clock, almost 11?
11 o'clock.
Yeah, they're drunk already.
They've been drinking since 6.
Yep.
Fantastic.
The party been
so come
started.
out, take pictures with them, dance with them.
Flash me if you like. Women only.
Yeah.
You have to be specific when you do. You have to be really specific.
Yeah.
All right. I will be back tomorrow night with Michael Cohen for the usual Sunday night show, and we're going to have Jeremy Kaywood in studio. He is going to be the host of the 3rd annual Indie Rock Fest, which is going on in April, and we are sponsoring that. We're going to have a different band or artist performer from that festival in studio every Sunday from now until the day of the event, so you can get all the information you need with the best coverage of the festival right here on River Talk on the River's Edge. That's Jay Cooper, Howie DeMack. Thanks to Sean Logue for coming into studio as well. I am Brian Crawford. This has been River Talk on the River's Edge Radio Network. Again, your intro exit music is Scumbag Inc., and that is by Solar Burn. I'm Brian Crawford. See you guys tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at riversedgepgh.com/live. I cannot wait. It's going to be a good time. See you then. Thanks, guys.
Later, bitches.
Woo!
If you come around, you can bring a logo with it. I think it's a banner or something. I know you're busy during the day, so just be during the day. But there. Yeah, no, because I was looking at it, I was like, wait, did you stop? Yeah. That could be. Everybody wants to go live now. Oh yeah, right now, yeah, parade.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me.